So that brings me to number 10. That is client satisfaction. So here we are at the back rear of the building. As you can see, scaffolding is going up on the house. Massive property. So tips on project management. That's what today's video is about. Before we start the video, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm in demand. I've been investing in property for over 10 years now, and I run Man's Academy as well, which is based in Smethwick in Birmingham, where I teach different property strategies. At my training school, I train people to be property investors. So this is just a little snippet from my coaching sessions. Okay, so you're here to watch this video about project management. So more than likely you either want to be a project manager to manage a property, or you want to be, or you've got a project, you got a property where you want to manage the project yourself, or you're just interested in project management. Okay, so we're gonna dive into this video. I'm gonna give you a few valuable tips, and I'm gonna, as I'm making this video, I'm gonna take you to my project as well, and I'll show you a few things by example as well at the end of the video. Just come out of the gym, so let's start this video and get going. So number one is define the project goals. Okay, so by that I mean that when you start the project, first of all you need to clearly define what the project needs. You need to clearly decide what the timeline is going to be, what your budget's going to be, and before you even decide that, you need to decide what exactly needs to be done, what refurbishment needs to be done in a project before you start your project. So you need to define the project scope before you start any project. That's number one on my list. So number two, what I will do and what you should do is assemble a team. Okay, you need to start looking to assemble a team of professionals who are gonna help you complete your project. So you gotta be assembling architects, interior designers, structural engineers, contractors, and so even project managers if you don't want to manage the project yourself. So assemble a team. That's number two. So number three, you gotta develop a project plan. You gotta outline, so you gotta make a project plan which outlines the timelines, the tasks, and who's gonna manage them, those tasks. Break it down into manageable steps and make sure you allocate those tasks to the right people who are supposed to carry out those tasks. So number four is budget management, probably the most important one in your project as a project manager, because you need to set a realistic budget, and then you need to follow it closely all the way through the project as well, that make sure you don't go over budget, but at the same time you need to leave room for unexpected costs. So the budget management in my eyes is the most important part of your project management. So that brings us to number 5 of project management. Number 5 is risk management. So you need to identify the risks which can actually slow your project down. So you need to identify the risks first of all, then you need to find strategies so you can mitigate the risks. Okay, so it could be delays in your projects. It could be you're running out of budget, similar things like that. So you need to identify all the risks in project management, and you need to find strategies which could actually mitigate the risks. Okay, number 6 is quality control. So make sure you're constantly monitoring the quality of the work what your tradesmen are doing, and you need to set up a very high standard of quality. And so to do that, you have to constantly monitor the quality of the work which any tradesmen who are coming into your project are carrying out. Okay, the work has to be of good standard, of high standard. That's the only way you can actually make a good mark for yourself, and for the project you're doing, complete to very high standard. Okay, so quality monitoring is very important as well. Okay, number 7 is communication. Communication, I'm thinking there's no script, remember. So with communication, it's very important that all the way through the project your communication is on top level with everybody involved. It could be your investors, it could be your contractors, they including builders, plumbers, it could be the architects. So the communication is the key. Okay, you need to make sure that you're constantly communicating and updating everybody involved in the project. That's your job as a project manager. That brings me to number 8. Number 8 is again very important one. Permits, regulatory compliance. So what I mean by that is that make sure you're familiar with all the necessary certificates, the permits you need. Even simple things like if you're having a skip outside your property and it's on the main road, you need a permit for that as well. Although the skip company will tell you that, but you need to know that yourself as well as a project manager. And then there's other rules and regulations, concerning HMOs, even other building regs, structural engineers calculations. So you need all these you need to know all the rules and regulations of the project you're doing. So make sure you teach yourself all those rules and regulations before you start the project. It's very important. So number 9 is scheduling and managing the timeline. Okay, the timeline management. So you need to set a realistic timeline for the project to complete to start with, and then it's very important that you monitor that as well. You got to make sure that you got it written down somewhere and you follow that timeline. Everybody else involved in the project needs to know that timeline as well, especially your builders, contractors. Yeah, and then make sure you monitor that timeline constantly, and then that's the only way you will be able to adjust if you need to adjust it. Okay, so make sure you remember that to check your timeline carefully. All right, so that brings me to number 10. That is client satisfaction. So client satisfaction, basically all the way through the project, especially if you're managing for someone else, make sure you keep your client up to date, keep them informed all the time, send them feedback all the time. So ask them for feedback, that if they need anything changed or stuff like that. So it's very important to keep your client informed, send them photos, send them videos, so they can exactly see what's going on. So that takes me to number 11. Number 11 is sustainability. So when you're doing projects like this, make sure you think about the environment as well. What I mean by that is make sure you use the products which are environmental friendly, and make sure you think all the time you're thinking about the EPC rating of the property. So the more higher the EPC rating is, less energy will be burnt, less energy will be used to keep the place warm or cool. So that way you're thinking about your environment as well. That brings me to my final tip, number 12. Okay, so number 12 is post project management. Okay, basically once the project is finished, once you've done your refurb project, make sure you go and look back at everything's been done properly, and also learn lessons made or mistakes made on this project or any project, so you can take those mistakes to your next project and don't repeat them again. So you learn from your mistakes and take what you learned from these projects to your future ventures as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. So as you can see, project management is very important, and I'm going to take you further outside and show you exactly what I'm doing on this project. So I'm at my project here in Wednesbury area in West Midlands. So as you can see on the wall here, we've got, although it's temporary not on a board at the moment, but it will be later on as the project goes, there's a time scale here. Okay, so each task has been given number of days or weeks it's going to take. Each task has been allocated to 1 or 2 people who are involved, and there's a start date of each task and there's an end date of each task. Everybody knows it because it's here on the site, and there's the plans as well, and there's the rules and regulations regarding the HMO are here as well. So make sure you do use these kind of things on your projects as well. It will help a great deal because everybody's on the same page. But in the meanwhile, we're doing a extension at the back of the house. I'll take you around and show you. We are just digging the foundations today, which are nearly done now. So I'll take you outside and show you. So here we are at the back rear of the building. As you can see, scaffoldings going up on the house. Massive property. So here's the foundation done for the rear extension. We have a 4 meter by 3 meter extension to open the rear kitchen and the living room, as I told you in my previous video. So let me just show you around the front. My main man, my boss, my brother. GSJ Building, best builders in West Midlands, in Birmingham, in UK, I would say. So scaffolding is going up on the property now. As you can see the scale of the scaffolding here, the height of the building. So it's a huge project. It's a lovely project, I love it, and the lads are on it. There you go. That's where we're at the moment. Hope this video will add some value to your life and your property business. Keep following, keep watching, keep working hard. God bless you all.